Good evening. I call this meeting of the Pinellas County School Board, January 27, 2026, to order. Please note, Ms. Meyer and Mrs. Long are appearing via Zoom. This evening, we will have a moment of silent reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice Chair Don Peters, and the National Anthem performed by Palm Harbor University High School after-school specials under the direction of Blake Hudson. Please stand and remain standing until the National Anthem has ended.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Their second selection will be Honeymoon Avenue.
High School, and we will be performing a piece that will be bringing to competition this weekend called Honeymoon Avenue by Ariana Grande. So we hope you enjoy. Thank you. I looked in my rearview mirror and it seemed to make a lot more sense than what I see ahead of us. I'm ready to make that
Absolutely wonderful performance. Best wishes on the competition. At this time, I like to do a check to make sure that we can hear the board members that are appearing by Zoom. Mrs. Long, can you hear us? Mrs. Meyer, can you hear us? We will check back later.
I can hear you.
Thank you, Mrs. Long. Next on our agenda is 2026 PCS Teacher of the Year video.
It's crazy. I'm overwhelmed. My students, that's why I'm here. They're awesome, and yeah, my coworkers, the ones who nominated me, I never in a million years would think I'd be sitting right here where I am today, and I'm up against some 10 really good teachers too.
I feel so thankful. I never, ever imagined that I'm going to have this big opportunity. My students is my inspiration, and every day they come to me and celebrate with me. They're here in my heart right now.
So the best part of being here tonight is being with all these amazing educators. I feel so privileged to be standing here with them. I did the transition to teaching program. I wasn't an educator before. And one of the things that I would say is just to lead with care. And, it's hard work that we do every day with those kids.
Well, right now, my emotions are all over the place. I can't really describe what I feel right now. There's a lot of highs and a lot of reflection back on to just my journey in education, because I didn't start off in education with a bachelor's degree in education, but it doesn't matter how you start, it's how your journey is what it's about.
I felt so honored throughout the whole process. Everyone could not have been nicer. And the group of people, the finalists that I am in here with tonight, you couldn't ask for a nicer group of people in addition to being the absolute professionals that they are.
Well, it's honestly quite surreal. Obviously, we do what we do to just impact our students every day and just have the most fun every single day. The best part for me about tonight is just being with family, being with all my loved ones, all my guests being here, seeing my friends who are past teachers of the year be here. It's just a camaraderie tonight.
I think it's hard to describe the emotions. It's just a ton of pride that I have, not necessarily for me and doing this, but really for the students. And at the end of the day, I think really it's mostly a reflection on them. And so I can absolutely tell you that as we go through the day, I'm thinking about those students that struggled a little bit, but are excited at the end of the year when they see that they can do it, that they can pull it all together.
Best part about tonight, I think, is having all of my closest friends, coworkers, and family here with me. I've been in Pinellas County Schools for 32 years. So this to me is kind of like the pinnacle of anything that I could have ever hoped for.
I would say the best part of being here tonight is enjoying all the company and all the fellow educators and celebrating it together. I just want to take everything in just slowly and enjoy every moment of it.
It's been an incredible experience and such a journey to get to this point. I really felt the love and support from my school. The best part of tonight is celebrating the excellence that we have in education. And it's a feel-good story that all of us love because every person that's here is dedicated to teaching.
And now, the 2026 Pinellas County Teacher of the Year is Denise White.
I was stunned when he announced my name. It was just such an awesome moment. This just was an amazing, amazing night. And to be chosen out of the 10 people that were highlighted and spotlighted tonight is just beyond wonderful. Having my crew of 15 people here to support me and, thinking about who is it in my everyday life at work and outside of work that lifts me up and encourages me to be positive, having them here means everything.
Congratulations to all of the nominees, finalists, and to our Teacher of the Year. You all make a positive impact in the lives of students. Next on our agenda, 1.6, Introduction of Professional and Community Organizations. Isabel Mascarenas.
Organizations. From the Pinellas Classroom Teachers Association, Lee Bryant, President. Representing the North Pinellas League of Women Voters, Joni Jonas. From the Pinellas Arts for a Complete Education Coalition, Sue Castleman and Katie Enzor. Today we have a presentation from the Student Rights and Responsibility Committee. Please welcome students Josie Witten and Logan Pinocchio from Palm Harbor University High School and its principal, Teresa Patterson.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of Pinellas County School Board, Superintendent Hendrick, and the staff. My name is Josie Witten. I am a senior at Palm Harbor University High School, home of the Hurricanes. I am currently the active president of the Student Government Executive Board and a member of our varsity cheerleading team at PHOHS. I am also a member of Youth Leadership Pinellas. Thank you all for what you do to lead and support our schools in our district.
And my name is Logan Pinocchio. I am a senior in the International Baccalaureate Program and the Career Academy of Business Administration and Management Program. I am the founding president of DECA, historian of the Palm Harbor University High School SGA Executive Board, as well as a member of FBLA. We appreciate all that the board does to support district leadership and provide student experiences and to elevate our school district.
Palm Harbor University High School is a high-performing, nationally recognized school that has developed a curriculum to meet the needs of a diverse student population. It offers an innovative university program coupled with 2 dynamic district application programs, the International Baccalaureate Program and the Center for Wellness and Medical Professions. This year, we celebrate our 30th anniversary of PHUHS.
PHU is nationally recognized for student achievement. Evidence of this, the class of 2025 had a 100% graduation rate. 48 national merit semifinalists were honored by the College Board from the PHUHS's classes of 2021 to 2025. For the first time in school history, the PHUHS class of 2025 was honored as a platinum member of the College Board AP Honor Roll. PHUHS is recognized by Magnet Schools of America as a school of distinction. The biomedical program at PHUHS has been recognized by Project Lead the Way as a distinguished school at the national level. Additionally, 90% of international baccalaureate exams taken, the students receive college credit. At PHU, students are able to further their passions through a variety of extracurricular activities. Not only do we have over 70 clubs and extracurricular opportunities on campus, but we also have an internationally recognized robotics program. In fact, in 2025, one of our teams won the Florida State Championship. Consistent national qualifiers in FBLA, HOSA, and speech and debate. In DECA's inaugural year at PHUHS, we had 20 state qualifiers. Our regional champion, Mu Alpha Theta chapter, hosts over 450 elementary and secondary school students for their annual Mighty Moo competition each spring, promoting access to accelerated math in our community.
Hurricane Nation also excels in athletics. PHU is the 10-time recipient of the Superintendent's Award for highest GPA for all student athletes, and a 6-time recipient of the Superintendent's Cup. In addition, Hurricane student athletes have won 15 team athletic Florida State titles and 20 individual state titles since the opening of the school in 1996. Currently, our nationally ranked PCAC champion soccer team is in the FHSAA Sweet 16, and our wrestling team finished the season 3rd in the state. In the fall, volleyball and boys and girls swim and dive won PCAC championships. This week, JV girls basketball will compete in the PCAC championships. Our performing arts students thrive as well. Our a cappella group, the After School Specials, are frequently nationally ranked finalists. And for the third year in a row, PHU Chorus has had the highest number of students in Pinellas County selected for all-state chorus. Our thespian troupe is among the highest honored programs in dramatic and musical theater by the state, Broadway Stars of the Future, and Walker's Rising Stars. This year, in visual arts, our school set a record for the number of scholastic honorees with the following scholastic visual arts selection: 10 gold keys, 11 silver, and 34 honorable mentions. Our color guard earned the Class A state championship last year. Band, choir, and orchestra consistently earned straight superiors at the state level. PHUHS is truly a school where our amazing faculty helps us to find and follow our passion, to set our purpose, and employ perseverance to pursue our goals.
But we are most proud of how our Canes culture serves our community with over 25,000 volunteer hours annually from over 1,000 volunteers. The collaboration between our school and community is truly unique and a source of pride for Hurricane Nation. This commitment to the children, families, and community is a core value of our Canes culture and proves that we are unstoppable together. Thank you again, Superintendent Hendrick, staff, members of the school board, for all that you do to support opportunities for students to increase student achievement through these student experiences.
Thank you, Josie and Logan, for highlighting PHU. Mrs. Myers, can you hear us?
Yes, Madam Chair, I can hear you now.
Thank you. Next on our agenda, amendments to the agenda. Mr. Hendrick, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes, Madam Chair.
Board members, are there any recommended changes? Now to the adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda? I have a motion by Mrs. Hind and a second by Mrs. Kane. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion passes 7-0. We now move on to special order agenda. Mr. Hendrick, will you introduce the item?
Motion and vote first for the proclamation.
You're right,
Thank
sorry. Yeah. Okay. 1 second. May I have a, sorry. We now move on to agenda item 4. May I have a motion to approve item 4.1, request the adoption of the proclamation designating February 2nd through 6th, 2026 as Student Services Week. I have a motion from Mrs. Blacksburg and a second from Mrs. Peters. Mr. Hendrick?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's my pleasure to introduce Donna Sicilian, the Executive Director of Student Services, who is going to share more information about Student Services Week, the first week in February, as we honor all of our employees who support our students, not just that first week, but literally every day of the entire year. Ms. Sicilian?
Board members, chairmen, and staff. It really is my honor, and I really do appreciate and am grateful for the opportunity to come up and take some of your time this evening and ask you to recognize and join me in thanking and expressing appreciation for all of the student service staff across the district, including our social workers, psychologists, counselors, prevention staff, nurses, our support staff that support all the work that we do. I was watching the Teacher of the Year video, and that is just so heartwarming to see people recognized. And I think that each one of those nominees would be able to talk to you about how student service staff at their school have supported them in their work and their students. So the staff that you have that are student services work tirelessly for you and for their students and for their schools. They are sometimes doing some really difficult things, working in complex situations, coordinating with the community. And I'm really grateful that the state of Florida Department of Education sets aside this 1 week to really let us have a chance to say thank you. So I appreciate your passing this proclamation. If you would, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sicilian. Mrs. Hine, will you please read the motion?
I'm pleased to, thank you. Proclamation Student Services Week. Whereas student service professionals, including school counselors, nurses, social workers, psychologists, and prevention staff, work together to assist students in acquiring the knowledge, skills, and competencies to make well-reasoned and healthy lifelong decisions. And whereas it is important to recognize that academic performance is impacted by developmental factors and school and community factors. And whereas the services provided by student services professionals enable students to learn, teachers to teach, and strengthens the bond between families and schools. And that student services professionals possess the necessary knowledge, skills, and abilities to reduce barriers to learning and assist classroom teachers, parents, and community agencies in providing a safe and positive learning environment for all children. And whereas we acknowledge that the student services professionals contribute to the educational success and personal development of all students. Now, therefore, the School Board of Pinellas County does hereby recognize the week of February 2 through 6, 2026, as Student Services Week for Pinellas County Schools and appreciates the significant contributions made by school counselors, nurses, social workers, psychologists, and prevention staff. Signed this 27th day of January, 2026.
Thank you. Board members, is there any discussion? I have a motion and a second to approve item 4.1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Mr. Hendrick, will you please introduce item 4.2?
It would be my pleasure, and I'll ask the board, if you will, to go down front. We're going to take a few pictures as we celebrate student service staff members who are being recognized tonight as exemplars in their respective fields and in relationship to the core values of Pinellas County Schools. I want to thank all of the student services staff, your friends, families that are here tonight to celebrate each of you. And I'll pass it back to Ms. Sicilian, Executive Director of Student Services, who will introduce each nominee, and then we'll take a picture with the board in front. Ms. Sicilian?
Thank you again. Thank you so much for getting, it's so chilly tonight. I'm sure no one wanted to leave their seat, but we really appreciate this. We have for decades kind of chosen as a team one individual that is sort of Student Service Employee of the Year. And then last year, what the group decided to do was to really, this group has really embraced the core values of Pinellas County Schools. So what we decided was, instead of one individual that we felt represented all of the core values, we would go back through all of the PCS praises that every student service staff received over the past year. And we would look for and see what their colleagues had said about them and choose someone that we felt really represented each of the core values. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce them for you. I'll tell you their name, their title, position, and what core value they were chosen by their colleagues to represent. Okay, I'm sorry, everybody's giggling behind me. What's happening? Okay, so first I want to introduce you Renee Hoops. Renee is a school psychologist, and Renee is being recognized for her commitment to children, families, and community. And Renee, you were right. Next, I want to recognize Michelle Morehouse. Michelle is the school counselor. Here you go, Michelle. at Bel Air Elementary. And I gave her the plaque before I said what core value she has. Michelle, what is your core value? Thank you very much. Respectful and caring relationships. They could. Thank you. That was very gracious, Ms. Sines. Okay, next we have Susan Todd, who is a school nurse, and Susan is being recognized for cultural competency. And now I'd like to introduce you to Jennifer Hughes, who is the school social worker and being recognized for the core value of integrity. Next, I want you to meet Brooke Smith. Brooke is a social worker in the prevention department, and she's being recognized for the core value of responsibility. Thank you. And I think you all would agree that none of us, regardless of our field and what we do, wouldn't be able to do our jobs without the kind of quiet staff that support us every single day. So next I would like you to meet Calivia Davis, who is a clerk spec 2 in the prevention department, and she is being recognized for connectedness. Thank you all so much. This means a lot to themselves, their family, their principals, and coworkers that are here, so thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ms. Sicilian, and all of our student services staff recognized tonight, and their families and coworkers that are here. We look forward to celebrating you again next week during Student Services Week. The board is coming back up, and we'll continue with the rest of our meeting.
The next agenda item is 4.3, presentation of proclamation recognizing January as National Mentoring Month. May I have a motion to approve item 4.3? I have a motion from Mrs. Blacksburg and a second from Mrs. Peters. Superintendent?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are so grateful of the mentors that serve our students in a variety of capacities each day. In January, we've been celebrating National Mentor Month, and here to talk a little bit more about our mentors and ask the board to consider the proclamation is our Minority Achievement Officer, Kathleen Young-Parker.
Thank you, Superintendent Hendrick, Madam Chair, school board members, and staff. National Mentoring Month is an annual month-long campaign celebrated in January to highlight the transformative impact of mentors on student lives. Mentors support students to make positive choices, enhance well-being, and increase academic achievement. Mentored students are more likely to have better attendance, academic performance, and higher graduation rates, and increased desire to attend college when engaged in formal mentoring programs. Over the past year, Pinellas County Schools has achieved significant milestones with more than 404 new mentors trained and over 2,242 active mentors district-wide. These mentors have made a meaningful impact in more than 2,423 students they support. To ensure a continuous and expanding network of support, the Office of Strategic Partnerships welcomes new mentors year-round. Training equips new mentors with the skills and insights needed to connect with students and positively impact their lives. Through our mentors, the district ensures that trained, caring adults meet the needs of every student in our community. Their dedication reflects the district core values and contributes to Pinellas County Schools remaining an A district.
Thank you, Mrs. Young-Parker. Mrs. Kane, will you please read the proclamation?
A proclamation 2026 National Mentoring Month. Whereas the goals of National Mentoring Month are to raise awareness of the value of mentoring, recruit individuals to mentor, and encourage organizations to engage and integrate quality mentoring in their efforts. Whereas a mentor is a caring person who is consistently present, who devotes time to a young person to help them discover their personal strengths and achieve their full potential through a structured, trusting relationship. And whereas quality mentoring encourages positive choices, promotes self-esteem, supports academic achievement, and introduces young people to new ideas. Whereas mentoring programs also have been effective in combating school violence, discipline problems, substance abuse, and truancy, while continuing to foster social connections. Whereas research shows that youth who participate in a mentoring relationship are more likely to finish high school and continue to college. Whereas National Mentoring Month gives us the opportunity to recognize the staff and volunteers who dedicate their time to high-quality mentoring programs to celebrate young people who have found their inner strength with the help of a mentor. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Pinellas County, Florida, and the Superintendent hereby proclaim the month of January 2026 as National Mentoring Month and urge all to observe this month by taking time to recognize and acknowledge the impact of mentors in Pinellas County who give so unselfishly of their time and talents so students can be successful. Signed this 27th day of January, 2026.
Thank you. Board members, is there any discussion? I would just like to say that mentors are greatly needed and appreciated. You can find out how to mentor by contacting your local school or looking on our website, pcsb.org. I have a motion and a second to approve item 4.3. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. At this time, we will take a short recess to ensure our technology is working well. Thank you.
One, two. One, two, 1, 2.
Testing the microphone through Zoom.
Mrs. Myers, can you hear?
Yes, I can.
Mrs. Long, can you hear?
I can now, thank you.
Did you hear Mr. Keaton when he spoke in the microphone?
Yes.
Chair.
Wonderful. Thank you. We will reconvene in 2 minutes. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for your patience. As you can see, we are going through some renovations, and we wanted to make sure that our board members who are appearing virtually could hear the speakers from the podiums. We are now reconvening. We are on agenda item 5. Mrs. Hauk, do we have any speakers on agenda items?
Yes, Madam Chair. We have one speaker for agenda items. Speakers for the public hearing will be called later in the agenda. We do have one speaker for the agenda items.
Thank you. Members of the public have 3 separate opportunities to address the board when we gather for a business meeting. The first is public comment on agenda items. The second is at public hearings, which of most are policies. The last is after our meeting when speakers may address the general business of the district. At each opportunity for public input, board members are here to listen to you. This is not a time for interaction, but the board will take your comments into consideration before it votes on the agenda items. The board is committed to a standard of civility and decorum in conducting our meetings. This includes refraining from clapping or making audible noises during or after a speaker's comments. We appreciate you assisting us in maintaining a civil and constructive environment. Lastly, please note that this meeting and all public comments will be broadcast live on the internet, and the video will be publicly archived. Members of the public may always communicate with the board through our email address, board@pcsb.org, or by calling the board office at 727-588-6300. Thank you. Mrs. Hauk?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first speaker this evening is Mark Clutho. He is speaking to items 7.4, 7.14, and 7.15.
Mark Clutho, Largo. 7.4. This is a mistake. That's all I have to say about that one. 7.14. Bid policies and procedures. You keep doing the same stupid thing. Like that new building right over there. An asinine building. Like that Clearwater School. Oriented wrong with West Glass. You keep doing the same thing. So what follows? It's the old cause and effect. We have the headlines. Trump media acts to push fusion power. And Trump's push into nuclear is raising questions. Florida needs small modular nuclear reactors. Well, see, you're helping that notion along when you make these stupid buildings. This is what your policy brings. And then what follows? We have these species become extinct. A snail, a bird, a shrew. The coral reefs at point of no return, report warns. And the researchers dodge icebergs and seek ocean tipping point. How close are the planet's climate tipping points? Big article here. Like I say, it's all cause and effect. When you make a stupid building like that over there with that West glass down to the ground, and the building is wrong color, some fool's going to say we need nuclear power. Look what happened to that Crystal River plant. And where does that nuclear waste?
Agenda item,
Madam Chair, there are no more speakers for agenda items.
thank you. Agenda item 6, unfinished business. There is no unfinished business. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? I have a motion from Mrs. Hine and a second from Mrs. Blacksburg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes 7-0. We will now move on to our consent agenda, starting with item 8.1. Board members, remember that this is a public hearing to receive input from our constituents, and no motion or action is needed. Mr. Hendrick, can you please introduce the item?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board members, as you know, each year we adopt a different curriculum per the state guidelines, and this year we are looking at English language arts, and in particular K-5. We talked about this at a workshop, presented our recommendation to you, and tonight I have our Chief Academic Officer, Danica Jones, and our Elementary English Language Arts Content Specialist, Holly Slaughter, who are here. We'll give a brief overview of the process and the recommendation that we have for you this evening. Ms. Jones?
Great evening, Mr. Hendrick, Madam Chair, School Board, and staff. We are here today to present to the board and the public our recommendation for instructional materials for K-5 English Language Arts and to provide an opportunity for public input as required by Florida statute. We are recommending continuation of the current K-5 custom English language arts materials produced in partnership with Public Consulting Group, a state-approved vendor. To remind the public, we have completed a review process that included valuable feedback to inform recommendations. As a reminder, public access to the materials has been available via school board district website for the required 20 days, and these materials will remain on our website through the next school board meeting on February 10th. I want to extend a special thank you to our K-5 ELA team led by Mrs. Holly Slaughter, English Language Arts Specialist, for her leadership throughout this process, and to all of the wonderful teachers of Pinellas County Schools who contribute to this great work every day. Thank you for providing this opportunity for public comments.
Thank you, Chief Jones. Mrs. Hauk, are there any speakers for this agenda item?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have one speaker, Mr. Mark Clutho.
Mark Luther Largo. This is really rich, you judging this one. I come to these meetings and I routinely hear you not getting the idea of a conjunction. And then not knowing if you should use an A or an N, and not knowing about an adverb or an adjective. And you're going to decide what should be English language. The basics of what I learned way back at the beginning of elementary school. That's just a sad commentary. It's always an "and" when the word begins with a vowel. I couldn't count how many times you would do an A. And you're going to say what should be taught in English. What a joke.
Board members, is there any discussion? Mrs. Hine?
Thank you. I just wanted to mention a couple things since this is in front of us. First of all, the transparency and the ease with which you can see every single module and lesson from kindergarten through 5th grade is easily available online. So if you or anybody you know has any questions about what or how we are teaching English in elementary school, it is very easily found. So please certainly look that up. So I appreciate the transparency with the public and anybody to be able to look at that. The other thing I want to mention, since it's before us, is the quality. So the transparency and the quality. It's an opportunity to mention to you that over the last 7 years, Pinellas County Schools' 3rd grade reading rate has gone up 14 points, which is 26% higher than it used to be. Whereas the state of Florida's 3rd grade reading rate has stayed flat over the same time with 0 improvement. Now that's for several reasons, but one of those reasons is specifically because of our elementary ed department and the focus and the way that we teach reading. And so I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you, and that I believe in both the quality and certainly the transparency of all of these materials being online. So thank you and well done.
Thank you very much. The next item, 8.2, request adoption of the Florida School Board Association's 2026 legislative platform. May I have a motion to approve item 8.2? In a second? I have a motion from Mrs. Kane and a second from Mrs. Hine. Mr. Hendrick?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The board discussed this at our most recent workshop, and an update to the Florida School Boards Association legislative platform, specifically an item on Schools of Hope that the board discussed. I want to pass it to School Board Member Katie Blacksburg, who serves on the committee for Pinellas County Schools at the statewide level, to discuss this in more detail. Ms. Blacksburg?
Thank you. So as we discussed last week at our workshop, we are, the vote is for the adoption of the Florida School Boards Association 2026 legislative platform. We, as Pinellas County Schools, submitted platform agenda items, a lot of them were accepted. So this platform very closely aligns with ours, with the exception of the Schools of Hope addendum that is not on Pinellas County Schools, simply because we adopted our legislative platform prior to the sort of inundation from the Schools of Hope. And so we, like I said, we discussed this at our workshop, and I can open up for any questions or comments.
Board members, is there any discussion? I have a motion and a second to approve item 8.2. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. On to new business. Items introduced by Superintendent.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last week, as the board members know and most of the community knows, we presented recommendations related to our Planning for Progress initiative as the school district continues to address issues of declining demographics and the finances that go with that. Since that time, faculty meetings have occurred at all of the impacted schools across our district, and many community meetings at the impacted schools have been held, with more to come this week. As I shared last week, all of the recommendations have involved a tremendous amount of input and planning from the community, and none of them have been made without deep consideration on the histories of the affected schools, and especially how they will impact our children, both long-term academic and social health of our students. We appreciate the feedback from parents, from faculty, the community that we've heard so far, and we will bring a summary of these meetings to the board at the February 17th workshop for the board to discuss this further, and then eventually final recommendations to the board on February 24th. Our video tonight around our Evening of Excellence in our Teacher of the Year program. Congratulations to Denise White, who teaches middle school at James B. Sanderlin K-8 School, a 32-year veteran in Pinellas County Schools. She taught at Woodlawn Elementary School for 19 years, Bay Vista Fundamental for 8, and now at Sanderlin. For more than 3 decades, she's committed her life to serving children, and I thought her speech about being awesome every day was a great one and really resonated with the crowd. It was a pleasure to honor Mrs. White, our other 9 finalists, and really all 130 Teachers of the Year who we honored in a luncheon earlier this year. I want to again thank the Pinellas Education Foundation and the different sponsors for their generous support of our teachers. As you heard from our students earlier tonight, one of the Magnet Schools of America recognitions, Pinellas County Schools had 25 National Merit Awards from the Magnet Schools of America, tying the most ever recognitions for Pinellas County Schools. These awards recognize magnet schools for outstanding academics, innovation, leadership, and community engagement. One school, Ridgecrest Elementary School, won the highest honor, the Top Magnet School of Excellence. And 9 more schools received the next highest honor, including Hollins High, Jamerson Elementary, Eastlake High, Garrison Jones Elementary, Gibbs High, Kings Highway Elementary, Lakewood High School, Midtown Academy, and Safety Harbor Middle School. Congratulations to all 25 award-winning schools. Just about 10 days ago, we attended the Florida Music Educators Association annual conference, and I would like to congratulate our entire school board on being recognized as the Florida Music Education Association School Board of the Year. The honor recognizes outstanding efforts to support quality music education, and this was the first time ever that an entire school board was recognized by FMEA. Congratulations to the board for your continued support of music education. I know we heard from at least one board member last week about how great the conference was, and who knows, maybe we'll hear some more later. I'd also like to congratulate this evening our board chair, Caprice Edmond, who recently earned the Advanced Certified Board Member status from the Florida School Boards Association. Ms. Edmond first started as a foundational certified board member and has since gone up to this advanced level status for her continued professional development through the Florida School Boards Association. Thank you for your leadership, Ms. Edmond, and congratulations. The state of Florida recently released kindergarten readiness rates last week. Across the state of Florida, just 44% of kindergarten students who took the beginning of the year assessment were deemed ready for kindergarten by the state's STAR Readiness Test. In Pinellas County School, that number is 53%, 9 points higher than the state and 3rd highest in the state, just behind St. John's and Sarasota counties. While we are pleased to be amongst the highest readiness rates in the state, the numbers are far too low across the state and in Pinellas County. It is no surprise that students who complete the voluntary pre-K program, VPK, score much higher in kindergarten readiness. And so, once again, we ask our community, if you know a rising 4-year-old, enroll them in VPK. We prefer them to be one of the 2,000 plus students in our VPKs, but all VPKs in our community are quality. Across the state, consistently, students who attend VPK regularly are ready for kindergarten. And speaking of kindergarten, the Ready Set Kindergarten dates for Pinellas County Schools, open houses at all of our elementary schools, are next week, February 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Visit the district website for more information. We have an additional community event coming up where families can find out more information about our World Languages programs in Pinellas County Schools, called the Multilingual Services Expo. It is tomorrow night at Countryside High School from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Come and learn about all the world languages we offer from elementary through high school. And as you heard from one of our students earlier tonight, it is postseason time for all of our winter sports, basketball, wrestling, soccer. Best of luck to all of our teams competing in district, conference, and already state championships. And we already have some winners, as you heard from our students. And finally, as I do at each meeting, I'd like to recognize an employee for demonstrating our core values as submitted by a colleague across our district. And tonight's honoree is Miss Chantil Green, a paraprofessional at Sanders Exceptional Center. Ms. Green has worked for Pinellas County Schools for 26 years, and she runs the Intervention Center at Sanders. And she was recently recognized by a colleague who said she consistently observes Ms. Green supporting students who are struggling by helping them reconnect with the processes and protocols that make them a success. Her own professional finesse and patience and her encouragement of students to reflect and reset does not go unnoticed each and every day. Thank you, Ms. Green, for the work you do at Sanders, and thank you to all of our employees for what they do for our children each and every day in Pinellas County Schools. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Superintendent. Item 9.2, items introduced by School Board Attorney.
I have no report this evening. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. 9.3, items introduced by the board. Mrs. Peters.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Congratulations on completing your professional development. That's a lot of work. FMEA was awesome. Superintendent Hendrick also received an award and was recognized as the superintendent for the state of Florida at the awards as well. So I want to recognize him for that because he never, ever recognizes himself. I just want to speak for a moment to the community at large regarding consolidation and closure of our schools. This is going on throughout the state of Florida, well, and throughout the country, I'm sure, but just to the state of Florida. This isn't an easy thing for any of us, and our district has been working hard on this for well over a year. This is not a quick decision. It's not an easy decision. It's a very well researched and strategic decisions, I should say plural. I want to thank our district, our superintendent and district staff for all the work that they're doing with the community meetings, taking it out to the community at different areas throughout our county. There are school boards throughout the state that are actually doing consolidation and closures without having any public meetings before voting on their closures. I just want to stress how hard our district is working, and that you guys all know that we are all listening to you, your board, your staff, everybody's listening. We know this is hard. Our kids go to Pinellas County Schools too, and nobody wants their school to be closed, but there are hard decisions to make. I think too that the passion that we hear from the community regarding this, this won't be the first or last conversation we have about this, I think actually speaks to how committed our community is to their schools. This is their community and their schools, and I just want people to know that we do recognize that, and these are really hard decisions for everybody involved. So, but thank you for everybody's ideas and speaking out, and we are all listening to you.
Mrs. Hine?
Thank you. I would also like to speak to the topic that Mrs. Peters just raised as well. Are there folks here that are from Cross Bayou? Hi. Yeah, I'll tell you what. If it was my elementary school, I'd be here too. You know, my kids went through the same elementary school, both of them, and you fall in love with it, and you build a community, and it's really important. It's really important to you, and it's a very special place. So I can't imagine how it would feel, and I just want to say thank you for being here tonight to share with us what you will share with us. Mrs. Peters acknowledged that this is the fact that we've gone from 100,000 students 20 years ago to 80,000 students now is real, and they're numbers that we've been swimming in for a year and presenting at Kiwanis clubs and chambers of commerces and anyone that would listen to us about the kinds of things that are happening in our schools with enrollment. But when it hits your doorstep, that's a very different thing. So yes, we've been looking at the numbers, and the district has had to make some assessments and some recommendations, but I just want to acknowledge that for you, who's not swimming in the numbers, who hasn't been facing this and talking with the community about it, again, it's much more difficult, and it's at your doorstep now. Wanted to mention that I had the opportunity to visit Cross Bayou today and meet with the staff and just to hear any questions and concern. There were a few that came up. It was mostly around instructional questions or about the teachers relocating, and would they have an opportunity? Do they have to wait until the portal opens? And because of course right now for them, they already know they have to change, as opposed to, you know, waiting to see what's available in the portal. And then also a question around, well, you know, what if I pick a school and then that school is on the next list? Because we are aware, and it's been said in our community meetings, that this is kind of phase one. This is wave one, and there will be another phase that comes in the fall, more like the September, October timeframe. That's a legitimate question. So I really appreciated hearing those questions. I also heard, you know, when you look very specifically, there's a very special program at Cross Bayou. It's the Deaf and Hard of Hearing program, the DHH program. It's very special. I got to go to those classrooms, thank you, and hear from families that have been through it, thank you. So I just, you know, one of the questions that came up with that was you have DHH students who are in the least restrictive rooms or self-contained rooms, and then you have those that are mainstreamed. And I know we've talked about, and our DHH leaders here at the district say that they're looking forward to a K-8 model. They believe that in the end, this is the better services, the better experience for our students. But the idea that are both the mainstream and the least restricted kids, are they both going to Walsingham?
The answer to that's yes. Yeah, the entire program, including the one from Morgan Fitzgerald, would go to Walsingham K-8. I happened to visit Walsingham today. That principal's very excited to welcome families there. And just to mention on the employee side of things, since I know we have some employees here tonight as well from different schools, remember we have closed 3 schools the last 2 years, and we have used the contract process to do that, to make sure that everybody is placed appropriately at a place that they are happy with, at the receiving school, it's a good fit. So there's a process, and while again it's now on your doorstep, we've had 3 schools that have gone through this process in the last couple of years, and our HR department will work with each employee individually to make sure they have the right spot.
Thank you. On the Morgan Fitz going to Walsingham also, will the whole program go, even though Walsingham doesn't have 8th grade yet?
It will be a phase-in, so 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. Next year, 7th graders will have the opportunity to either stay at Morgan Fitzgerald or to go to Walsingham Oaks. The only group that would not go next year, this year's current 7th graders. There will be an 8th grade next year. There is no 8th grade at Walsingham Oaks, so but everybody else would be able to go. And again, those that are already at Morgan Fitzgerald can stay there if they so choose through their middle school experience, whatever one works best for their family.
Thank you. One thing I did hear today was that the district has been present and has been answering questions that people are asking. And I understand that that there's a plan for you to continue to be present, that the special assignment folks, Ellen is going next week, the head of special assignment, so that parents can come and ask questions. And well, if we're not here, where do we go? What are our options? And so I just want to acknowledge that you have been present, you have a plan to be present, and ask that you continue to be present for parents and staff as they ask these questions. And other than that, I look forward to hearing anyone who's going to speak tonight. On the legislative platform that we approved tonight, the Florida School Board Association, you can find that on tonight's agenda online, and I would just encourage you to take action on it. You know, come and talk to us all the time about our policies, about our budget. But as we all know, in Florida, it is a state-led education system and a state-funded education system. And so I would just want to ask everyone here tonight who's passionate about our schools to advocate at that state level, and not only with your local legislators. A lot of times we say contact your representatives. Certainly do. I think we only have one representative who actually serves on an ed-related committee up there, so I want to encourage you to also contact the education committees, any of them in the House or the Senate side. One of the key things that's on here is the VPK. Mr. Hendrick mentioned our high kindergarten readiness relative to the state. So we, on our platform, is about funding VPK full day. Right now, the state of Florida only funds VPK at 3 hours a day. Who's doing that? Who can drop their kid off and pick them up 3 hours later? Not a lot of people in Florida can. And so if we can advocate for the state to fund full day, which we have here, which is one of the driving reasons that 14 points or 26% I mentioned earlier, you know what? It's 17 points, 54% increase for economic disadvantaged students in Pinellas County, the third grade reading rate. You know why? Because that little bit of money that we get to make some decisions on, we fund full day VPK here in Pinellas County. So we want to encourage the state to fund full day VPK for all Florida's children who are economically disadvantaged. And that's on our platform, as well as separating the voucher funding from behind the skirts of the public education funding. Once we separate that funding and there's transparency to it, then we can talk about how we're funding Florida schools and advocate for that to be better for our schools. And then the last thing I want to mention on the Teacher of the Year last week, or was it last week? Yes, last week. It's inspiring. It's inspiring all the time. I was saying to someone, I guess the Cross Bayou staff today, our most important asset is our teachers who make a difference in the classroom every single day. So the Teacher of the Year always fills the bucket for all of us. And I just wanted to mention, I received a letter from a community member today about the front office staff, Kim Milne, the main secretary in Northeast High School. And this community member is a mentor for Take Stock in Children. She sent me a whole letter about how she watches this main office secretary just handle everything with ease and a smile on her face, and how she does it with all the moving parts and pieces. And I just want to ask everybody to tell your good stories. And when you see people, thank them. Thank them for what they do every day, because they're great. That's all I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mrs. Hines. Mrs. Myers?
Yes, thank you so much, Madam Chair, and thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. I apologize that I cannot be with you in person, but I am grateful for technology and the opportunity to speak with you this evening. First, I want to thank each family and staff member present tonight. I appreciate your participation in this difficult conversation, and I look very forward to hearing your comments in the next portion of this meeting. I also want to thank Mr. Hendrick and Ms. Dole and all of the staff who've been involved working tirelessly to navigate these challenges. It needs to be highlighted that at every single turn, community input has been at the heart of these decisions. And I'm very proud of that as a board member, and I think I speak for all of us in that. But as a board member individually, I feel, and I know that these decisions are not ever taken lightly. Schools are more than buildings. They're the anchors for our students, our families, our staff, our communities. And when we talk about school closures, we're talking about real people, routines, impacts. These decisions are hard and emotional. And I want to convey that I understand that as your board member. Our responsibility is to balance what we value with what is sustainable. And so I feel that is what we are trying to do. We have to look honestly at declining enrollment facility conditions, safety concerns, long-term financial realities. All of these things require us to look honestly at how we serve our students, our families, our communities, not just today, but for the long term, 5, 10 years, whatever, 20 outside of now. Our priority remains our students, and I feel confident in that. It means ensuring students have access to safe facilities, strong academic programs, the resources they need to succeed. And I truly feel that we are committed to transparency through this process, and that is why the community input matters so much. And I think it's obvious that we're listening. Clearly, no final decision has been made without careful review, public discussion, and a clear understanding of the impact on students, families, and staff. I just want to say that our goal is to not simply just close schools here, but to strengthen our district and ensure that every student has access to the best education possible. And I very much value your comments, your concerns that we're going to hear tonight, and I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. So thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. I have a few comments as well. For Agenda 719, that was on the consent agenda, I understand that the state provides the data shown on the Office of Safe Schools quarterly report. Congratulations to the schools for having no findings during inspections. I'd like to request that the agenda item for future quarterly reports clarify any data that may be misleading. Thank you. And then I had the opportunity to attend the Schools of Hope webinar yesterday, and it was like no other webinar or workshop that I've attended before. No materials or draft documents were displayed during the webinar. Participants were able to submit questions. However, the questions were filtered by a moderator and were not visible to other attendees. There were extended periods of silence, followed by the moderator restating the question or either providing a general response or indicating that the answer was not yet available. The department shared that a draft document will be presented or on the website later this week, and the State Board of Education will be voting on this item in February. Despite some of these limitations, the session did allow for some engagement, and participants were able to ask questions and receive high-level responses. So just a few notes that I took. Areas under consideration are limiting the number of notices issued, providing greater assurances related to co-location, establishing priority processes for facility identification, expanding provisions within co-location management plans, including expense offsets, refining criteria for approving Schools of Hope operators. If you are not aware, it's the Florida Board of Education who approves the School of Hope operators, and there are currently 7. As well as incorporating clearer timelines, including the notices of intent, and defining parameters regarding the amount and type of space Schools of Hope may occupy or identify as an area that they would like to co-locate in. I look forward to continuing to follow this item and appreciate the board's support of Florida School Boards Association platform, which includes legislative advocacy. Next on my items is related to ICE. There have been many questions and comments regarding immigration customs enforcement. We had dialogue regarding this item last year. Mr. Kopersky, would you mind providing the public some insight?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. As you mentioned, it was exactly 364 days ago today at your January 28th, 2025 meeting that there was a large discussion regarding this. And if you remember back to that time, as much as there is a public debate and discussion of this topic now, it was much greater at that time. And we did provide some guidance to our schools. And I know there were a lot of communications that went out to our families through a variety of means. Whenever I address this issue with you or anybody else, our principals, I always like to start with a couple of ideas or principles just as context. And that first one is just to remind everybody that under federal law, actually United States Supreme Court case, any and all school-aged children who reside in Pinellas County are entitled to a free public education in our schools. We cannot and we do not ask the immigration status of our children, their parents, or any other family member. And so to undo that would actually require the United States Supreme Court to overturn its precedent. So I think that that will provide some context for the discussion. The second point I'd like to make is that specifically in our school district, in Pinellas County Schools, last year I said it's been at least 20 years and probably more since any school in our school district had a visit from an immigration enforcement official. And so today I can say it's been at least 21 years, if not more, that the same has happened. And so we have made it clear to our school-based administrative teams, if anybody comes in regarding any immigration enforcement issues, an official, whether it be from ICE or any other the other agencies from the Department of Homeland Security, to contact not only their area superintendent, but also the legal department. And we have not had any calls over the last at least couple of decades on that. But ultimately, the question is what would happen and what is our stance on this? And I believe our stance as your legal counsel is fairly simple, and that is we will follow the law. So there are federal laws, there are state of Florida laws, you may remember, that have been passed in the last couple of years that prohibit, for example, at the Florida level, that prohibit local, state, or any governmental agency from having any sanctuary policies, as the statute calls them. So we cannot prohibit or obstruct any federal immigration enforcement actions or investigations. And on the federal side, there are many federal statutes that relate to the broad powers possessed by the Department of Homeland Security, including coming in and asking under certain circumstances to speak with people and even to get records. Now, we will not exceed their authority, but neither will we obstruct any investigation. That is why we ask our school-based teams to contact the legal department, because as circumstances might vary, so will our responses to those circumstances. If we can require a subpoena, we would require a subpoena. If the agent says that this is a circumstance under this federal statute, and some of those exist, where it's an emergency situation, then we would not be able to require a subpoena. So we follow the law, and it's as simple as that. But at the same time, I do know that the board knows from its and the district's vision, mission, core values, and district strategic plan that you value a safe and respectful environment, culturing environment in all of its schools. And so we do everything that we can to do that, but of course we need to follow the law. So, I mean, I can't go into every statute that speaks to that now, but we have asked our school-based staff to contact us in case they get a visit. So we will certainly treat all of our families with respect and protect their legal rights, but at the same time follow other statutes that might apply to us.
Thank you, Mr. Kopersky, for sharing information with the public. People are seeing what's occurring in other areas and rightfully inquiring about what the district position is. Ms.
Oh,
Flaxman?
I just had a clarifying question. So in regard to what you just said, that the first step period across the board that we have relayed, or you have to administration in all of our schools, is that if there is a representative from ICE or from Department of Homeland Security, that they are to contact legal first.
That is correct. That is correct. And so that we are here at all times. They can contact us after hours. They have my personal contact information, and then we can work through them. We also have our own law enforcement agency, the Pinellas County Schools Police Department, and so we would certainly get them involved as well so that we can talk law enforcement agency to law enforcement agency, and we would look at any paperwork that they have, look at the legal authority that they are claiming that they have, and come to a conclusion at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kopersky. And I will wrap up my comments just by telling everyone here today, thank you for being here. Your presence matters, and if you are unable to attend and have feedback on any decisions the school district is making, feel free to contact us via email, board@pcsb.org, or whatever other means that you know how to contact us by. Now on to 9.4, review of board request.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I noted one request. We receive a quarterly report from the Office of Safe Schools, and all that we are required to post it as is. The data may be a little misleading, so when we post that, if it looks to be misleading, we will provide an explanation of the data.
Thank you. I will adjourn the meeting and we will move to public participation. Meeting adjourned. Mrs. Hauk, are there any speakers this evening?
Yes, Madam Chair, board members, Mr. Hendrick, we have 12 speakers this evening.
Thank you. We will now move to public comment on general business of the district. Please note that the views and comments of the public speakers are their own and not endorsed nor sponsored by the school board or district. We cannot ensure the accuracy of statements made, but will review concerns that are raised and take appropriate action, which may include clarifications or the referral of speakers to the proper staff for assistance. The board is committed to a standard of civility and decorum in conducting our meetings. This includes refraining from clapping or making audible noises during or after speakers' comments. We appreciate you assisting us in maintaining a civil and constructive environment. Additionally, please note that although board members or Superintendent Hendrick may leave the dais briefly, there are speakers in the back room and we will continue to be able to hear your comments. Thank you. Mrs. Howe.
Thank you. There are 2 lecterns available, so I'll be calling speakers 2 at a time. The first 2 are Lee Bryant and James Janata.
Board Superintendent Hendrick and staff, my name is Lee Bryant, and I'm the president of the PCTA. Even though Florida has the 4th largest GDP in the United States and would rank number 15 in GDP in the world if it were a nation, the fiscal year budget for 25-26 decreased overall education funding by 1.3%. Florida's public education system faces chronic underfunding, ranking in the bottom 10 states for per student funding and teacher pay year after year. When adjusted for inflation, Florida's K-12 budget has not caught up to the 2007-2008 levels. Per student spending has dropped by over $1,000 since that period. Florida is not a poor state. It chooses to act poor when it comes to the public education of our children. It is a choice to underfund the system, and it is a choice that we let it happen. The 25-26 budget saw a 5.7% reduction in funding for early learning. What did the littles do to earn such a cut? What is the state willing to fund? Well, expansion of universal vouchers has diverted billions of dollars from public schools. Florida is the only state that has no cap on its voucher program. None. The state of Florida has a budget of over $4 billion for scholarships. Pinellas County Schools had a budget over $143 million for scholarships. We are evidently willing to fund private for-profit schools by letting them claim space in our public schools while we pay for them. Co-location, schools of hope. It should be schools of nope, because we are not willing to underfund our kids' public education for their private schools. Under current law, Hope operators are allowed to open in vacant spaces inside public schools at no cost. School districts must provide custodial, maintenance, safety, food, nursing, and transportation services if the schools of Hope request it. Less than a week after the rule went into effect last fall, the Florida Policy Institute, a nonpartisan policy research organization, reported that charter operators had sent over 690 letters of intent to co-locate inside 22 counties. Over 35 public schools in Pinellas County received these requests, and we have no D or F schools. None. Thank you.
Hello, my name is James Janota, and I wanted to tell you or thank you for giving my son an opportunity to have an education, even though that it was strained for the full entire 12 years of his educational journey. He has autism and was in the ESE programs from the start of his school years up until now. Well, actually, now he's in extended transitions. And in so doing, I have tried to get him into voc rehabilitation, to get him into some furtherance, and to get him into a direction where he could be functioning and be a productive member of society. And what I was trying to do was trying to get him an ID card, or trying to get the school system where he's at Walter Parnell, to get a copy of the ID card to give to the VR team. Apparently there's some sort of disconnect of information, and I was wanting to know if there's a way to connect a little bit more between VR and the Pinellas County school systems. Also, I had to stop at six places within the school system to get a copy of his transcripts for VR, and that's what we need to. That's also what the other problem and my frustration was, to try to get VR and the school system to get the necessary documents that they need, because VR is also a state entity, and that needs to, I figured the two state entities should be able to mesh together, and the transference of information should be readily available and rapidly accessible. So that's all I have right now.
The next two speakers are Mark Clutho and Michael Geike.
Mark Clutho, Largo. Over 25 years, I've been bringing the science of high-performance passive solar building to the schools here. Winston Churchill in 1960 said, "We shape our buildings, thereafter they shape us." There have been a number of presidents of the teachers, like the one here tonight, that says we don't get the money that we should, but they've never, ever said, let's build that school building the right way. Never said anything about this stupid building across the street here and what it's going to do for the future of these students that they pretend they care about. Here's what the building should look like. Not the stupid thing over there. It's so pathetic. I mean, hypocritical is the word. Just so pathetic. I get this letter here. Yeah, have to cease and desist. Because I said, read the book, War is a Racket, by Smedley Butler, General, the Marines, awarded 2 Medals of Honor. That's somehow scary. Yeah, I'm threatening. Well, here's the letter from my lawyer. And if you don't take notice, he said his next step will be a lawsuit. Don't trample on my First Amendment. Here's this headline, William Fogey, leader in eradication of smallpox. Well, now we have Kennedy, Governor DeFuhrer, and his Dr. LaDoofus. What do they want to do? They want to get rid of the science that'll protect us. Oh, boy.
Hello everyone, my name is Michael Gerke. Today I have 180 seconds to stop a train that is already in motion, going faster than I can even probably imagine. That train is called the closure of Cross Bayou Elementary. Today I have to speak in front of people that are much more educated than me, who have gone on to college and continued their education and got degrees that I couldn't even imagine. My story is different than yours. I'm a very simple man. In August of 2024, I went back and I got my high school diploma. I even shook Kevin Hendrick's hand. Sorry. Thank you again, Kevin, sincerely. Thank you for being there on that day for me. After all, he is the one that gave me my diploma that day, with my baby girl in my other hand on stage. I thought that was one of the most important days of my life. But today I realize this is even more important than that day. Today is my turn to give back to the community that has given so much to me. I came not to point fingers or belittle any one of you. I was even told maybe I should come at you that way. I see that all the time on the news and in this world. To be honest, I refuse to be a part of that. I was told that children don't follow your advice. They follow your example. We are not getting anywhere as people being that kind of example. But today I ask respectfully of everyone on this board to rethink the decision that they have made or thinking about making about closing Cross Bayou Elementary. Cross Bayou Elementary is not a normal school by any means, and I am more than just a normal man standing in front of you. I'm starting to realize that. You know what I am? I'm a father that can make a difference. See, I know a lot of you have children that sit on this board, and I'm sure the ones that don't have children have adopted children along the way that they call their own in this life. I've read up on each and every one of you, and to say the least, it's inspiring, the life you guys have all lived. I thought, how can I hold a candle to any of you? But I realize I am also special and privileged, just in a different way. I get to do what so few parents get to do, and that is to be a part of not just my children's life, but also other children's life. I get to do that at Cross Bayou Elementary. Every day, I get to eat breakfast with my children. Every day, I've gotten to know all the staff, teachers, and even the school guard. And of course, most all the children at Cross Bayou Elementary. I've even got involved with lunch pals. I've even mentored. One of the things that stood out to me most about this school was the deaf and hard of hearing program.
Thank you. The next two speakers are Jacqueline Stoller and Kathy O'Gara.
Hello, my name is Jacqueline, and I'm here as a parent and as a member of the deaf community to discuss the DHH program move. Personally, I'm hard of hearing, but I grew up not here in a much colder place, I'm happy I'm not, without a deaf and hard of hearing program. And I was the only deaf kid in my school. And while academically I turned out fine, I grew up profoundly isolated and looking for connection. It wasn't until I found the deaf community as an adult that I felt like I belonged. Today, my son attends the deaf and hard of hearing program at Morgan Fitzgerald Middle School. I won't get into his story, but just know that if I did, there wouldn't be a dry eye here. He has been through it all. But the fact that he loves his teachers and how clearly his teachers love him, it means the world to me. I see him grow and learn every day. I see his language exploding. And none of that would have been possible without the Pinellas County Schools Deaf and Hard of Hearing program. So huge thank you to all the teachers, aides, interpreters, admin, everything, both in Morgan Fitz and at Cross Bayou, who have made his life what he needs. Because what he needs more than anything is community. And that's why while I'm really sad about Cross Bayou, I'm also really excited the Deaf and Hard of Hearing program will be under one roof. Because if I have one complaint right now, it's that there's often not enough resources, that they are constantly pulling interpreters from agencies, that they are doing this. And my child is deaf, but he also has other needs. Change is not good for him. It's a lot. And so having all the kids under one roof will really help, that he will have that consistency. He will have everything he needs. And so even if the new change of a different school will be hard, it will be good. There will be more people who can sign. Be that teachers, aides, there will be more kids, there will be more interpreters. There will be so much more community and opportunity for him to connect than there is now. And that will keep growing and giving him more and more opportunity as he grows up. And he gets to belong. He gets to fit in here, and that's because of the program here and why it is so important to my family, to him. It means everything. He gets to belong, and I'm excited that this school will allow him to be somewhere where the DHH program is centered. It's a bigger part of the school, and it's not just an afterthought. And I hope to see all the staff he loves from Cross Bayou and from Morgan Fitz there, because that is really more important than the physical building itself, the staff and the people who are there. So really, I want to say thank you, because all of you who are here and all of you who are not here, and you have changed my child's life, and thank you.
Thank you to you. Hello, friends. My name is Kathy O'Gara. I've been a resident of Pinellas County for 60 years. I'm a retired registered nurse. I have 6 grandchildren. 2 of them are adopted and in Pinellas County Schools now. They're my grandchildren. I graduated from high school in 1973. At that time, we needed to study hard. Okay, I'm sorry, I start again. At that time, we students were told that we need to study hard to allow Americans to compete in the world, especially in the subjects of math and science. Although I was a small fish in a big pond of very smart people, I was inspired by a teacher, one teacher in particular. She was my history and government teacher. At age 70, I still think of her daily. She taught me the value of a good education. On the record, I view you guys, the Pinellas County School Board, in the same way as I still see Miss Powers. I am confident that you collectively fight for our children as well as their teachers, who will be providing inspiration to my children and my children's children. The future of America depends on them. It is my observation that neither our government in Tallahassee nor Washington view education in the same light as we in this room. Instead of funding education, they are gutting education. They are stealing money from public education to give money to private charter schools. The state leaders do not value our schools or see our teachers as the essential workers that they are. Our teachers should be treated as a national treasure. They hold in their classrooms the future of our nation. I came today to tell you thank you for fighting for my children's education. I came also to ask you to continue fighting for our teachers with the restructuring. I am sure that they're fearful of their livelihood being at risk. Lastly, I reiterate that I do not want my tax dollars to fund private charter schools or the co-location of the schools of hope. Rather, I want everyone's tax dollars invested in public education to make all children competitive in the world market. Thank you.
The next two speakers are Donald Hudson and Tracy McConnell.
Hello, I'm Don Hudson. I've been a resident in Pinellas County since 1980. And I'm here, similar to Kathy, to thank you for the great job you're doing. So, very lucky to live in Pinellas County. My son started in school in Pinellas County in kindergarten and went all the way through high school. We had a great experience with that. He also graduated from college in the state of Florida. The public school gave me an opportunity to volunteer, and I've been volunteering all along. I want to let everybody who's watching today know that the volunteering experience is a lot of fun and very rewarding, and I highly recommend it. I've volunteered and participated in science fairs, sports, band, robotics, and tutoring. And as I said, I've had a lot of fun with that. My son has graduated and working a full-time job, but he is also now volunteering in Pinellas school system with the FIRST robotics program. Currently, I'm in my second year volunteering as a math tutor at Oak Grove Middle School. The students there are very sweet and very funny, and the teachers are very enthusiastic and engaging, even on early Monday morning tutoring sessions. Their classrooms are filled with posters of all the topics that they're teaching, and they update them as they move through the math subjects. So in summary, for all those watching, I highly recommend not only the Pinellas County Public Schools, but also that the parents get involved in those schools. When parents volunteer in schools, their children actually perform better. So it's very worthwhile for the parents, both for themselves and for their children. Thank you.
My name is Tracy McConnell, and I'm a third grade teacher at Pinellas Central Elementary School. My school is one of the schools that will be affected by the closures at the end of the school year. We will not be closing, but we will, however, be gaining students. What I want the board, as well as the parents and students of Cross Bayou to know, is that your students are coming to a great school. I understand that for many families and staff, this change feels like a loss of a home and stability. Those feelings are valid. I've been at Pinellas Central for 21 years. I will never forget being greeted there by a plant operator the minute I got out of my car for my interview. My two kids went to PCE. They come back and volunteer every chance they get. They love seeing their old teachers. We're a family at PCE. I realize the students and parents of Cross Bayou are upset and worried, but I want everyone to know we will greet the students from Cross Bayou with open arms. I know the teachers at PCE will teach and love your scholars like they have been with us all along. We will love and teach your child every day because that's what we do at PCE. My plea to the school board and the administration is to please be patient with staff at the schools that are closing down. Some of those teachers may feel like they are losing their families and their work besties. They aren't getting a choice to transfer, unfortunately, because of the situation we are in with enrollment. They will be forced to transfer. Teachers give their all to their schools, families, and students. These teachers at the schools that will be closing deserve to be treated fairly. Please make sure that just like PCE will welcome our new students, that you all in turn ensure that teachers affected are welcomed into new schools. I ask the board to use transparent communication and fair placement processes to support teachers who are being transferred. Thank you.
The next two speakers are Spiridion Alexandros and Sabila Beganovic. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak today. My name is Sabila. This is my name sign, and I used to be a deaf student here in the Pinellas County Deaf and Hard of Hearing program. I want to begin by making one thing very clear for you. The DHH program is not closing. The DHH program is being relocated to a newer and better school so it continue to serve students in the best way possible. Cross Bayou will always hold a special place in my heart. That is where I made my lifelong friendships, learned American Sign Language, and built strong skills in reading and math. At Cross Bayou, I had amazing teachers who cared about me and helped me grow. What made Cross Bayou so meaningful was the people, the language, and the support. I know it can be tough to let go of familiar places. It was not just the building that did this for students, that created these memories. Cross Bayou has given so much to students and families over the years. Those experiences, each of them shaped who I am today, and I will always carry them with me and look back on them fondly. At the same time, Cross Bayou is currently a C-rated school, and the campus has aged over time. The buildings need major repairs, including a new roof, and attendance has declined. While the program itself is strong, the physical space and overall school environment no longer fully supports deaf and hard of hearing students' needs. Walsingham Oaks is a K-8 A-rated school designed to support high academic standards and student success. Being in a higher performing school means deaf students will be surrounded by stronger academic peers and more consistent language and learning models throughout the day. It also provides a continuum of services from kindergarten through 8th grade, giving students stability and consistency as they grow. This move does not erase the legacy of Cross Bayou. The same values, culture, language, and dedicated teachers will move with the program. What changes is the setting, one that better supports learning, access, and long-term success.
Madam Chair, just to note for the record, some additional time was provided to the speaker. The board policy allows the chair to grant some extra time based upon the means of communication. We assume that there would be some additional time allowed, so thank you.
Hi. Hi there. My name is Spiridon Alexandros. I am a senior at Pinellas Park High School. I stand here today to talk about Cross Bayou School and how it does not need to be closed. I am here to tell you this. First of all, if you come to Cross Bayou, you can see everything that we have to offer. It is not just a school. And it's important to understand the school and what it has. When I was young and first coming to the school, as a deaf student, I met so many teachers and support staff who understood me. For example, they taught me love. They taught me respect. They taught me understanding. They taught me success. And there are so many more things that I learned being at Cross Bayou. And I know that you really cannot close Cross Bayou. You can't. You really just can't. This DHH program at Cross Bayou is wonderful. This DHH program helps not only the deaf and hard of hearing students, but also the hearing students at the school understand what it means to be deaf or hard of hearing. Because as a rule, the deaf community and our respect for ASL, our rich culture, we need that. When I was growing up at Cross Bayou, I didn't experience any bullying. Meaning that I was raised around some of the best people. And now here I stand in front of you for my childhood at that school. The question that I have left, the question that's on my mind lingering, is it right? Is it right to send the DHH kids to a different school, to a new school that is going to be K through 8? Is that right? The deaf and blind programs, each of us, we all have our community at the school. Because here I am deaf and I am ready to graduate and I'm ready to succeed. And that is right. So, some people out there might think that I'm too dumb to graduate. Or that I don't have, or maybe they think that I want answers. Because for this, I want to take a chance. I want to take a chance on a new version of the program. That's what you guys are saying. Thank you for your time.
The next speaker is Rosa Rodriguez.
Well, good evening, Chair, board members, and Superintendent of Schools. My name is Rosa Rodriguez, and I am here on behalf of the Pinellas Public Library Cooperative's Deaf Literacy Center. For the past 25 years, I have had the privilege to working in partnership with Pinellas County Schools, specifically with Cross Bayou Elementary, Morgan Fitzgerald, and Pinellas Park High School. And I am here tonight just to say thank you. The first I heard Cross Bayou might be closing, the first thing that came to mind was they're gonna dismantle the deaf program like many other school districts have done throughout the country. So thank you for continuing to make sure that our deaf and hard of hearing students are prioritized. I know that you guys are experiencing significant challenges across the district, and it's been hard making these decisions, but the fact that you're prioritizing deaf children and ensuring they're going into a new school in my opinion, to higher standards. That was always a concern I had. Why do we have deaf children with language models that are not the richest in the county when that's what they need? They need people to bring them up and not just pull them down. I mean, I was a Title I student, so I know the struggles that I had. I was no language model for many people out there. When the deaf and hard of hearing students learn together, they benefit from stronger language models, increased access to communication, and a sense of belonging, which is so important in the deaf community. And it's critical to both the academic and the social development of those children. Program cohesion creates a better learning environment, supports identity development, and leads to better long-term outcomes for deaf and hard of hearing children. So thank you for ensuring that that's going to continue to happen. As the program prepares to relocate, we recognize that change can be difficult. Yeah, we're going to miss the actual building, but we're hoping that you still prioritize their needs at the new school. The priority has always been ensuring that they have access to high-quality language, rich environment, and that they can thrive. So hopefully the resources will continue. We'll carry on with them, all the resources they have across Bayou. We want to thank your leadership, and we look forward to continuing to working with the schools. Thank you.
Madam Chair, there are no more speakers.
Thank you. That concludes the proceedings for this evening.